Today we're talking about how to write equations in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is one of the most important formats for writing the equation of a line because it's very easy to graph and it's just easy to write in general most of the time. I like to write most of my equations in slope-intercept form, but sometimes it's easier in point-slope. Slope-intercept form though is y equals mx plus b. And we know that m stands for the slope of a line, and the b stands for the y-intercept. So I'm going to do slope in red, and I'm going to do the y-intercept in blue. The x and the y, when you're writing an equation, will stay x and y. So every equation that we write will have y equals, and they will also have an x right here. The only things that will change when you're writing the equation is when we find the m, we're going to put the number here. And when we find the b, we're going to put the number here. So this will be a number, and this will be a number in our answer when we write the equation. Okay, so this one says, write the equation of the line that has a slope of -5. So here's my slope, and a y-intercept of 6. So here's my y-intercept. All right, so this one gives me both of the things that I need to write an equation in slope-intercept form. Because my equation is called slope-intercept form, this equation requires that I have the slope and the y-intercept. The slope and the y-intercept. So this question already gives me the number for the slope and the number for the y-intercept. So I can really easily write the equation of this line. We remember that the slope-intercept form always has y equals. The number for the slope, in this case -5, goes next, and then the x. Notice that the slope is multiplied by the x value, and then the b value goes at the end. If it's a +6, we're going to put +6. If it's a -6, we would put -6. All right, and so we're finished with this question. This is the equation for the line that goes through the y-intercept of 6 and has a slope of -5. Okay, so if we wanted to graph this, we could do that. We could start at 6 on the y-axis, and then we could go down 5 over 1 to plot the next point. So this is the equation of the line with this data. All right, so let's try the next one. It's very similar. It says write the equation of the line that has a y-intercept of -2. So this one is my y-intercept and a slope of 1/2. So they gave me the slope of 1/2. So again, every slope-intercept form equation will have y equals, and then the slope, in this case it's 1/2, and then the x, and then the y-intercept. In this case, it's a -2, so I'm going to write -2. So again, here's my equation. I'm finished with this problem. If I were to graph this, I could start at -2 on the y-axis, and then I could go up 1 over 2 and plot the next point and connect the dots. So this one has a slope of 1/2 and a y-intercept of -2. Okay, sometimes they don't give me the slope, so I'm going to have to find what the slope equals. So this next one says, write the equation of the line that goes through the points 0, -3. And if we look at this ordered pair, 0, -3, if there is a 0 in the x and a number in the y, remember, in our notes, we said this was called the y-intercept. Okay, so the y-intercept is the ordered pair that has a 0 and then a number. So if I were to write this one as an ordered pair, I could write 0, -2. And if I were to write this one as an ordered pair, I could write 0, 6. Okay, so this one didn't give it to me as an ordered pair, they just gave it to me as a number, but this one gives it to me as an ordered pair. But I can recognize without them telling me that this is a y-intercept. Okay, so I have the intercept part, but they only give me 2 points. They don't give me a slope yet. So I have to find the slope, and I can remember that if I'm finding the slope of a line, I can use the slope formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So remember our slope formula. And if we're given 2 points, the first x value is the x1. So this is my x1. And then y1 is the first y value. And then this one is my x2, because it's the x of the the x of the second point, and y2. Okay, so I can go ahead and write those if I want. My x1 is equal to 0 in this ordered pair. My x2 is equal to 2 in the second ordered pair. My y1 is equal to -3. And my y2 is going to be equal to 4. And then I'm just going to put them right into the equation. So the first number that they want is a 4. So I'm going to write 4. And then there's a minus sign, so I'm going to write minus. And then y1, which is -3. Then it says divided by x2, which we said is 2, minus in the equation x1, which is 0. And then I'm going to subtract. The two minus signs together here will combine to give me a plus. So this says 4 plus 3, which is 7. And then the bottom says 2 minus 1, I'm sorry, 2 minus 0. So this would give me 2. Okay, so I know that my slope is 2 over 7 now. And I know that my y-intercept is -3. So I can write my equation. Y equals my slope times my x, and then my y-intercept, which is -3. And this is my equation in slope-intercept form. Y equals 7 over 2, x minus 3. This looks like a 7. Okay, and I'm finished.